and transforming. If you're watching live, hashtag live. If you're going to be watching the replay, hashtag replay. And remember to like the video and share.
Live.
Other people can see the before. On today's episode, we shall be looking at the topic being a total man. Being a total man. It is believed that there is no perfect person on earth. We all have our weaknesses, we all have flaws, we have our area of skills, we have our area of strengths. And could be believed that there could be a definition of an ideal man. Then if an ideal man cannot be achieved, what are the necessary measures, what are the efforts that a man is making in order to be a total man, in order to be able to... Am I audible?
You are audible.
Okay. In order to manage the situation and the responsibility he has to face in life. So in the studio with me, I have my co-host in the studio is Mr. Oluwafemi Oluwalere. You're welcome to the show, sir.
Good evening, viewers. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you're watching from. And happy weekend.
And also in the studio is Dr. Femi Samuel. Good evening, Dr. Femi Samuel.
Yes. Hope you're having nice weekend. Happy viewing.
Yeah. And once again, today is Dr. Femi's birthday. Happy birthday to you. We wish you many more blessed year of God's goodness. Many happy return of your day.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm grateful for that. Thank you.
Yeah. Back to the topic of today, being a total man. So let's look at the topic. It seems a little, I know when you look at being a total man, what does it mean to be a total man? Can we look at that?
Good evening. Can I start it?
Yes, go on, sir.
Yeah, good evening once again, our viewers. When you say someone is a total man, by my own definition, what it means is that we can say a man is total, or we can say someone is a total man if such person exhibits all the physical characteristics of a man. In strict sense, like what our organizer has said, we do not really have a total person because we believe only God is infallible. But from the confine of the definition, or for the confine of that word total man, then we can say a total man is a kind of an ideal man that exhibits some characteristics of a man. Is being regarded as being a responsible man, a man that is disciplined, a man with moral character, a man who has the ability to adjust to any changing situations, a man who has the ability to manage a home well, a man who has an ability to take control of his situations. If such person exhibits all these types of characteristics to a certain level, we can say that man is a total man. He's ready to adjust to whatever situation that comes his ways. He doesn't carry it on his eyes. I'm facing these situations, then my reaction has to depend on that situation. No. He controls whatever situation that comes his ways. Is ideal, is level-headed, is able to manage a home to a level. If a man satisfies all these conditions, we can clearly say such a person is a total man. Thank you.
Dr. Samuel?
Yes.
We are going to be having a roundtable discussion today. So there is no border.
Thank you very much. As Oluwadele have said a lot. I was discussing with a lady a few years ago, and I asked, who is an ideal man? She gave me her own definition. And he said, tall, dark, and handsome, spirit-filled, and pocket-loaded. I'm talking about tall, dark, and handsome, spirit-filled, and pocket-loaded. That is an ideal man. Anybody could consider. But we know that such men maybe can only be found in heaven. They don't actually exist on earth because they are angels. The men we have here, we have a lot of flaws. If you talk about, the lady talk about physically, what the man looks like. Then now talk about the spiritual life. Talk about the pocket too. I mean the financial life. That if all those things are heavy enough, to that lady, it's a total man.
Okay. Can we look at it from this angle? That, okay, we said that there may be a definition for an ideal person or an ideal man. But, you know, in physics, really, I remember we did something like the ideal situation and the real situation. So the ideal is a perfect situation. But what is applicable? What are the things that are available that we can see? You know, what if we look at it in this angle, that totality, being total, has to do with the different facets of a man's life. When we look at morality, moral, is this person a person of morale? Is this person a person of integrity? What about etiquette and decorum? How can we look at that person in the area of etiquette, decorum, control of the situation? Let's say the circumstances are not going well. How is the person able to manage the circumstances? What about anger management, emotional stability, spirituality, then the personality of the person? At the same time, we can also look at the social aspect of that person. So let's look at all these things and figure and factor it into totality of a man. Can we look at it from those areas?
Thank you.
It's a roundtable discussion, so please.
There are many things you will really need to consider. Like Dr. Femi has just said, that a lady was telling her who she regards as an ideal person. So you discover that what a lady may say or what a lady will regard as an ideal person may be different from what another lady will regard as an ideal person. Some will tell you, okay, if his purse is heavy, if he's ready, he's able to meet all my financial obligations. Some lady will tell you, okay, that's an ideal person, that's a total person. But some will tell you money is not the ultimate. The person I'm looking for should be somebody who is able to manage his emotions, somebody who is ready to control himself, somebody who does not really get offended anyhow. Mark you, there are some people when you say something they don't like, they can't control their anger. The next thing you get may be a dirty slap. But if you ask some ladies, they won't bother. They say, once the person has money, it's an ideal person. And of course, unfortunately, they have forgotten even the rich also cry. There are some people who has money that has everything, but yet the home is not peaceful. So put in a proper perspective. An ideal person should be somebody who is always ready to control his anger. Somebody who exercises discipline, decorum. Somebody who is averagely okay, not necessarily being superficially rich. No, at least who is able to meet at least 60 to 70% of his financial obligations. Somebody who is able to manage homes. Marcuson will tell you, well, I'm not bothered. So long as he meets my financial obligations, I'm not bothered. Some will even tell you, a lady who doesn't go to church, or a lady who goes maybe once in a month or once in a year, may not really be bothered about the spirituality. But a born-again lady will say, spirituality is very, very important. So it depends on the contents of where you are looking at it. Whether the person is responsible, whether the person is spiritually okay, whether somebody who always believes that God can do all things and is always looking up to God in every situation. A drunkard, of course, may not really bother about God. Some will even tell you there is no God. So if a lady align with that, they too, if you also believe that he doesn't believe there is God, then an ideal situation, an ideal man to him or to her may not necessarily be a spiritual person. So, like we said, it depends on the contents of how you look at that person. But generally speaking, an ideal person, a total man, should be someone who is always ready and willing or able to control his emotions. He said, who is always willing and ready to regard, to at least to say yes when he's supposed to say yes, and to say no when he's supposed to say no. There must be somebody who is morally brought up, who is able to discipline himself, who is able to control his tongues, particularly when he's in a public environment, and who's able to manage his children at home, discipline them, and are ready to listen to him at all times. That's the person, if I'm a man or a woman. Such a person I will regard as a total man, not necessarily being very, very rich, but to be averagely okay. That's the person I will regard as a total man. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, looking at this topic, I remember growing up then, my dad is a man that believed so much in integrity. He was not rich, but he believes that no matter what you do in life, integrity matters. But it's so sad that today the level of moral decadence in our society or in the world at large, it's unimaginable. You know, you wonder sometimes when the young, even the so-called grown people, when some issues are addressed, and you wonder if these people understand or know what that word integrity is. So, considering this topic, how do we match that integrity and a total man? What does a man, what should be the level of integrity of a man in regards to being a total man? Mr. Oluwaleri.
Well, unfortunately, Dr. Samuel is off. When you talk of a total man, a man of integrity, it means such person should be someone who is always regarding his yes to be yes, his no, no. He doesn't look at any other factors to change his mind or his situations. He wouldn't say, because I like this person, okay, even when what he's doing is wrong, it's yes. Such a person is not a total man. He should be able to take whatever situation the way it is. He shouldn't be somebody who will paint who will paint something red when in natural fact it is blue, or paint it as if it is blue when in natural fact it is red. Such a person is not a total person. It's not a man of integrity. And anybody who cannot stand by his words at all times is not a man of integrity. And any man that is not a man of integrity is not a total man. So all those factors must come into play before you regard somebody as the man of integrity. I can't be a head of a family and I'm not able to control my people at home. And anytime I go out, I look like a disciplinarian. Maybe I'm a lecturer, and when I'm in class, I look as a disciplinarian. Or I'm a pastor, when I'm in a church, I look as if I'm a disciplinarian. And I can't control my family at home. My children are wayward. Ask them to go to church, they don't go. When they are supposed to go to school, some of them has already maybe another cloth they will use. When they get out, they go to somewhere else. So all those factors must come into play before you regard somebody as a total man. If you control your home well, it will show even when you are in the place of work. It will show even when you are in the church. It will show wherever you find yourself. And the kind of utterances that come out of your mouth will determine who you are and which home you are coming from. So a total man must exhibit all those characteristics of an ideal situation. Thank you.
Yeah. Dr. Samuel, looking at our present situation in the 21st century, you observe a lot of moral devalue. How do we put in place the issue of moral to being a total man? Because we can realize that the moral value has been, in fact, devalued. I don't know. To say devalue is an understatement.
Thank you very much. The question you just asked is all about the problem we have in this country, we have in our society, moral decadence, in which we don't hold to high esteem morality or good things. The end in our system. How can we fight this? Inculcate morals into the next coming generation. Fighting is not far-fetched. The first thing we must do is orientation, general orientation or national orientation. Let there be a program on air in which you tell us cause and effect of all our activities. Most people do a lot of things that they don't come to terms with the fact that what they are doing is actually going to cause a problem. They see it as if they are only seeing their action, but what will come out of that action, they don't see. And that is how we got to where we are today. We do what we do, we do what we are doing, and we don't care whose us is God. So when we talk about morality, there must be general orientation. We must start telling ourselves the effect of what we are doing. Start from that. And we too, as parents, we try to live an exemplary life to people that are following us. You may not have children yet, but there are people that look up to you. How do you live your life? Do you actually feel that you owe some people explanation the way you live your life? The case of morality or moral decadence is prevalent in our society. Checkmating it is always a very difficult thing because we've thrown it out. We do the end justify the means. So if we in a little way can serve as a standard of morality, I'm sure with time, if everybody is contributing his own quota of morals into society, before you know what's happening, we will all be living right. The last, I think, The last time Japanese feature on international scene, they showed to the whole world that they have morals. They were well brought up, and the whole world they were taken aback by the fact that what they do, the way they relate, they have morals, and we can also do. How did they get there? They've been inculcating it in the generation, and everybody tries to take responsibility for his action. I'm sure if you do, you'll be better off for it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. You mentioned, Mr. Lualere, Dr. Samuel mentioned the facts about orientation, and which I think, I don't know, maybe that's where we got it wrong, because I want to believe a lot of wrongs that are happening, probably maybe because people don't know what they are doing wrong. Sometimes when some discussions are brought to public, you wonder what people say, as in their reaction. You now begin to wonder that, where did these people learn these things from? So when we look at our leaders talking about modeling, are they modeling, or are they giving good orientation for the upgrowing generation? Mr. Oluwalere, what do you have to say about that? Orientation for the upgrowing generation, modeling. Mr. Oluwalere.
Are you hearing me? Hello?
Yes, please.
Okay.
We can hear you, sir.
So, okay. I was saying something. I said, at a time in Nigeria, we have this national orientation movement. At the time, we have MAMSA, we have this or that. But I tell you, how many changes have we really witnessed since the advent? If you even discover the olden days, they are so better off than what we have now. It's part of all those orientation movements, part of MAMSA, it's part of this, it's part of that. I remember there was one of the topics we were handling here, and we were talking about children. In the good old days, if a child goes to school and he comes back with something that does not belong to him, the parents will follow him or her back to school, and they will chastise him. They will expose him. Today, you find a child of maybe a child of GSS 1 or GSS 2 coming home with Galaxy, with Infinix. And the parents will even be so comfortable to collect it from him or her. So where do we regard those words? It means integrity is lost. In the good old days, if you hold money and the thing falls off, let it falls off for 2 or 3 days. If you pass where that money falls off, you either meet it where it's falling on, or somebody else will pick it and put it at a glaring place where the owner will see it. But today, in fact, as it's dropping, you will see somebody else picking it. Let me give you a typical example. A woman said she entered the BRT from Oworo to CMS. And in the process of going, he discovered her phone got misplaced. And somebody else used the phone to call. Somebody handed the phone to her because she knows her number. And when she called, it was an elderly person that was sitting beside him, or her, sorry, that picked that phone. An elderly person stole that phone. This week, I don't know whether you have received it, a woman went to the bank and she never knew that CCTV was showing her live. She was sitting in front of a customer service officer.
Yes, I saw that. Customer service.
This woman was stylishly opening the zip. She picked her phone. She picked so many things. And unknown to her, she didn't know The system was covering her. Why am I saying this? If eventually they discover something is lost and they are suspecting those who are in the banking hall, nobody will ever think that innocent woman can do that. Another only person. That's to tell you the falling standard of our morals in Nigeria. Today, one can sell his conscience with 1,000 naira. And that's why up to now we cannot get a good leader. When it is time, everybody, those politicians, they know us, they know majority of us. Majority, once they give him 500 or 1,000 naira, they fought up for it. Look at the EndSARS period. They were interviewing a boy in Abuja that they have macheted, they've wounded. And they were asking him, why did you do this? He said they gave him 500 naira to go and counter the EndSARS movement. And unfortunately for him, those people got him, they macheted him, did everything. See blood gushing out. You wanted to kill somebody because they gave you 500 naira. That's the level by which our morals has fallen up to. So I don't know. You discover in the good old days, things were not like this. I don't want to say, could it be because of the economic situation? Could it be because of the COVID or what? I don't know. Look at the COVID period too. Look, you see a lot of people rushing to where they say they can get good free gifts, breaking into stores. You see an elderly person, you see somebody ordinarily that you would want to accord respect to, carrying a bag of rice, carrying a bag of fertilizer. In fact, the thing went to the extent that people carry things they don't even know the usage. That's to tell you the falling standard of our morals. And I pray, I think it is only God that can really help us. It is only God. Things were not like this before. I don't want to say could it be because of the economic problems, or what is it? Or is it selfishness? Is it greediness, or what? I don't know. And I pray God will help us anyway. I think that's the only explanation I can give. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. It's amazing the level at which we are going. Dr. Samuel, you know, when we look at especially our young ones, it can be so disgusting sometimes the way they relate. Even some so-called matured people, you see this happen in the work area, you see this happen in churches, you see this happen in social environments. What is the place of etiquette and decorum in being a total man? In relating with people in different areas, church, work environment.
Expect a total man to have good etiquette and decorum. So, for the past few years, there is gradual loss. Can you hear me, please? There is gradual
Loud and clear, sir.
loss of decorum in our society. I'm not sure. I might see audible.
Very audible.
We can hear you loud. We can't hear you again.
Can you hear me now, ma?
Yes,
Can you
loud
hear
and
me?
clear now.
Hello?
Loud and clear.
As a decline
Yes.
in decorum in the public. And because you see, we are trying to copy the Western culture, and we are not copying things very well. We copy what does it fit. We match the Western culture into our culture, and this creates crisis, identity crisis. And this crisis is what we are seeing now. A case in which someone just believes that disrespecting others is what makes you feel like a man. But that is not it. Respecting people, that's what makes you a responsible man. Everybody wants to be respected. Everybody wants to be loved, to be honored, to be referenced. And that is a need that we can't afford to look away from. So people throwing discipline, ethics in away shows that there's a decline in etiquette in the society. And a total man must learn how to maintain etiquette. For instance, if you have ever been on the wheel, there is a popular thing on the wheel. When people handle the wheel, they learn to insult people. It's just what is in our society. It's what is like reflex action. It's not what you learn. When you handle the wheel, someone cross your path, other motorists, bikers or so. Before it was happening, either you're a pastor or not, the next thing you are raining insults on the person. It's as if it's part of our driving lesson. It's part of our of our life when you're on the wheel. No matter how the person is. Someone that will not use positive language ordinarily, not on the wheel. When it mount that wheel, it's going to say a lot of things to people. So it takes conscious effort. Conscious effort in the sense that you sit and ask yourself, how do I want to talk to people? When Bible says, let your word be always with grace, seasoned with salt, you ask yourself questions. What I'm saying, does he tell who I am? I know a friend that was driving, a pastor now drove by. The pastor insulted him. He recognized the pastor. He followed the pastor closely and now drove closer and said, Pastor, and drove away. The pastor had to follow this guy to apologize. The pastor has apologized, but at least it shows that either we believe it or not, when we are in the public places, we see ourselves saying doing things we would have done ordinary. I think there is need for us to caution ourselves how to behave, how to relate, how to talk to people, so that, because some people are looking up to you. So what you say has a way of affecting others. You should mind what you say and say what you actually mind. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Luale, do you have anything to add to that? Etiquette and decorum, especially among our young people. A lot of young people are so disrespectful. It's amazing the way they behave.
Honestly, to me, it is whatever even the elderly ones. Have you not seen a pastor beating the traffic lights? You've not seen it. Have you not seen some of those who call themselves spiritual people running after 1,000 at the expense of selling their conscience? It trickles down from the top to the bottom. One major lesson I learned during this EndSARS period was, when the minister for, I've forgotten her portfolio, he was the one in charge of all this rural empowerment. When she was saying she spent so much, everybody was shouting her down. Whether you are lying, how can you do this? It was when the EndSARS period started or came up that we really believed the woman was actually speaking the truth, that she actually gave out this thing. In fact, one of the politicians piled up those items in a warehouse, saying that he will use them during his birthday, that will give it out as if it's his own personal gift. That is the level.
I see it's less privileged people that will come to the birthday.
Exactly. So you discover this thing is not, we are only blaming the youth. It is what the youth saw that they have embraced. What about those who we look up to? You'll be shocked some of those who look up to places that they are not supposed to cross, they cross. They will be the first, when there's a little hold up, they will be the first to go to the other, the opposite direction that you are not supposed to take one way. They will be the first. We were all here when a military officer was crossing taking the one way when Fashola arrested him. So this thing trickles down. It's everywhere. I was so shocked the day I went to Benin Republic, where the Okada is supposed to take. You will see a vehicle passing the place, and you will see an Okada man taking the wrong place. I don't really know the way I will explain it. And you see, the same people that we have here, they go abroad, they obey the traffic rules. Why is it not so here? So that can tell you the entire standard has gone down. Nobody respects the constituted authority again. Even the people at the higher level of powers, they perform worse even than the youths. I've not seen a woman saying she wants to buy, she wants her child to write an exam in a special center. What's the meaning of special center? Have you not seen a woman pay for mercenary to write an exam for her child? So to me, blaming the youth is not the major thing. It must come from a leader. Why is it that things are working in Ghana today? When this late president got there, J.J. Rawlings, he arrested the last 3 head of states. He investigated them and he discovered all of them have unlawfully enriched themselves. He killed the 3 of them, the 3 head of states. They are generals. How many generals? He killed all of them. And that was how Mora came back to that country. Today, Ghana has become a sinusoid of eyes. But in Nigeria, it's not so. So, blaming the youth have part of the blame, but even those are the considered authorities, they have a larger share. The standard has fallen completely, and it's only God that can reshape it. So, blaming the youth, to me, the youth is part of it, but the elders, the people at the helm of affairs should be the first to be blamed. If the heads is okay, it will trickle down. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Yes. Dr. Samuel, looking at this issue of being a total man, how can a person or a man manage his anger? Because it is certain there's no way we will avoid being angered, being battered, being mistreated, people brushing your ego and all the rest. These things happen everywhere. You go to churches, you see the way some people talk to you. If you want to respond, it look like, are you a Christian? You go to, in work area, you see a lot of things happen and you want to react to those things. So in order to be a total man, how should you manage your anger in order to be, it's gone. So in order to be able to manage our anger to be a total man, Mr. Oluwalere, maybe we should start with you until he comes back. Mr. Oluwalere. Okay.
Can you repeat the question again? Okay. Can you repeat the question?
Is back.
Okay.
Anger management in order to be a total man. How can you manage your anger in order to be a total man? That's a summary.
There is nobody that is responsible for helping you manage your outburst. It is your sole responsibility to manage your anger. I usually tell people that if a man can make you get angry, the man can actually control you. So you must keep your control in check, not for someone to know a button he or she pushes to turn you on and for you to lose your temper. Nobody will help you look for your temper. And if you are always having problems in controlling yourself or you are getting angry, then you need to sit yourself down. Ask yourself questions. What triggers you? What are the ways can you control those triggers? Because you must keep those trigger button away from people so that you will not be under their influence, or they want to manipulate or control you very well. If you are the type that gets angry very well, you must see a therapy for anger management. Anger does more harm than good to the person that wears it. It has there are hormones that do with anger. Your adrenaline pours into your system, shoots up your blood pressure, then impair your reasoning temporarily because it's like madness, short time of madness. Impair your reasoning temporarily, you act before thinking. And by doing that, you made a lot of mistakes that you may lead to regret. So if you have problem with anger, you need to sit yourself down. Ask yourself sincere things that come. How am I managing myself? Never allow people to have access to button that triggers your anger, because people will always trigger it. Then you must keep yourself safe from other people to be safe for yourself. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Never allow people have access to button that triggers your anger. I love that. Mr. Oluwalere, do you have anything to add to that, anger management and being a total man?
I think it's always good to go for a training for it. Let me give you one thing I experienced during Hope 83. I'm sure you know what's called Hope 83. That was the period of
yes.
MK Abiola and Alhaji Tofa. Everybody knew that Chief MKO was a stammerer. And when you offend a stammerer, it becomes pretty difficult for him to really control his anger. But you discover that before that debate, they have so trained him that the tendency is there for the reporter or the questioner to offend you, but that you should comfort yourself and look at all the questions, the way he was answering them. So there is need for whoever knows he has a hot temper or who has an anger that's not okay, that there's need for him to go for a training so that people will teach him what to do and what not to do. Period to respond and the period not to respond. How to comport yourself and what you are not expected to do when you are angered. You know, there are some people when they get angered, even when they hold cutlass, they don't mind cutting a person's head off. Look at Okonkwo, it is fall apart. You know, it was all anger that brought him to that level. Anytime he does something that is not expected, his eyes will clear. But he would have done it before realizing it. So there is need for whoever knows he has a hot-tempered behavior that should go for a training, should go for people who can teach him, who can tell him when to respond, when not to respond. I was reading something concerning Baba Adeboye yesterday. He was talking about peaceful hope. And he was saying that at the time himself and the wife, they were always quarreling, and that they learned a lesson. That it got to a point they made up their mind that when there is an argument at home, one of them will keep quiet. He said one day he was driving, his wife just put to bed, has a little baby, he was carrying the car, and that there was a hot argument in the car. That it got to a point he couldn't control it. He said he just stopped the car, came down, and trekked back to the opposite direction, leaving the wife and the little baby in the car. He said, do you know what he did? That immediately he trekked back, he saw where they are selling, but I can't remember what he said he bought. And he was eating it and coming back. He said when he got to the car, he handed over the remaining things to the wife, and they continued the journey. So there should be a proper way when you know you are a hot-tempered person or that you always get angry easily. There should be a way you need to control yourself. If you can control yourself, meet people who can induct you, who can tell you what to do and what not to do to control your anger. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Yes. Pastor Samuel we thank you for the comments. I can see your comments. Anger should be put under control to be a total man. That's Pastor Samuel Idowu, and that's his comment on the comment section. Yeah. Dr. Samuel, in considering this topic, being a total man, how should a man put in place emotional stability? How does the issue of emotional stability come in place in order to be a total man?
Thank you very much. Your emotion is part of you. Even though you try to hide it, control it, it's part of you. And the earlier you learn how to control it, the better person you become. Emotion, I've said it before, is an example of anger, can impair your judgment, your reasoning. And it's a wise man that will now learn how to control it. How do you control your emotions?
We can no longer hear you, sir. Dr. Samuel, we can no longer hear you. Mr. Oluwalere, can you hear me?
No, I'm not hearing him. I think his network is bad.
It's like network is first. You can go on with that until it comes back.
Hello?
Emotional stability in order to be
back.
total.
It's back.
Hello?
Yes, sir, we are hearing you.
Go on. You can go on, sir. We can't hear you again.
Okay, maybe I should step in. You see, it's always good for one to learn how to control his anger. You know, occasionally I am part of the Hope Alive ministry in my church that's specifically dedicated for the prison ministry. We usually go to the prison. One of these days we went to Ikoyi prison and somebody was brought for me to counsel. And ordinarily when you want to counsel, you have to ask him why he's there, what has happened, what has transpired. I don't know what he told me. He said during the first election between Jonathan and Buhari, that one of himself and one of his best friends, they were together, they were arguing. One was saying, Buhari is going to win. The other one was saying, no way, it's Jonathan that will win. And the argument became fierce. The argument became hot. Before you know what was happening, he carried a bottle back and he gave that his friend. Before you know what was happening, that guy fell down and died. And he said that was how he found himself. That was how he found himself in the prison yard. Look at him, very level-headed, very quiet. That is anger. The second time, we went to maximum prison and we met Shegun, the guy that they said killed his wife, a banker. We met him face to face, and when we were discussing with myself and the chaplain, he was saying something about how the whole thing started. That when the thing first started, he wanted to dress and go out, the wife was holding him, questioning him. that before he knew what was happening, he carried knife, that he never thought of doing it, that he didn't know what came upon him. So what that is telling you as a way of controlling your anger, when you know you are a hot-tempered person, the best thing for you to do is to steer away from where there is an argument. Once there's an argument like that, you know the type of person you are. Just quietly.
Dr. Samuel, can you go on with that?
Yes,
Emotional stability.
Emotional stability. You must learn to be in control of your emotions. You know what triggers you, what turns you on, and you avoid it. As Pastor Oluwalere was saying, you don't have to involve in an unnecessary argument when you are not supposed to be. The question I will ask is that what would that argument bring to me? Is it going to bring money? If it's not going to bring money, then let me go and forget about the argument, because you know yourself. Before you know what's happening, you will lose the ability to control your emotion. And so your emotion is what you must guide jealously and not allow anyone to toy with it. Me, I always tell people that the Bible says, guard your heart. You have to guide it very well so that people just come, makes you get angry, and blame you for getting angry, or condemn you for getting angry. If you know you are all temper, why involve in argument, unnecessary argument? Why can't you avoid unnecessary argument, unnecessary confrontation? These days when I drive, thought me, I will just keep quiet. I won't even say I'll just drive away, because people you see nowadays, they are frustrated. There's economic hardship, and it's turning on so many people's emotions. People get to public places, to the bank, to bus stop, and they fight over little things. It's not their fault. People are frustrated. So small things that shouldn't degenerate into an argument or a fight can. And when you know what's happening, the person will be murdered or maimed for life just because they want to prove a point. There's no need proving a point with anybody. The society has made people so hostile, and the hostility will continue as much as we are in this precarious situation. So in a way to avoid it, avoid anything that leads to tension, anything that leads to fight, that makes you exchange words with people. Walk away. It's not that you are a coward, you are being wise. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. I also want us to look at being a total man in the social aspect of it. Our ability to understand people for who they are, about people's personality. Being able to understand that this is the way this person reacts to issues, and understanding that person and being able to manage people. So let's look at personality, as in understanding people's personality to relate to them in being a total man. Because being a total man is your ability to be able to flow with everybody, regardless of if the person is an introvert, an extrovert, the person is confrontational, the person can overlook things. How do we factor that into being a total man? Let's start from Mr. Oluwalere, sir.
Well, you've said it all. I am having an argument. I am having an argument with a hot-tempered person. Since I know the person is a hot-tempered person, or I know the person is an extrovert person, then it means it's a waste of time for me to be arguing with him. If I regard somebody as a fool and I'm behaving like a foolish person, it means I'm also a fool. Or I discover somebody is a mad man and I'm arguing with him, I have automatically become a mad person. God forbid bad things. So the best thing, if you are dealing with an extrovert, you know somebody is an extrovert, there's no point arguing with him. When he's talking, is either you keep quiet, and if you know your keeping quiet is annoying him the more, walk away. But of what use is it that you stay with him and you're arguing with him? arguing over the same thing that is baseless or senseless, it means you have automatically become a fool. So the best thing, if you are arguing with an extrovert, walk away or keep quiet. If you are arguing with a noise maker, keep quiet. Just whatever he says, regard it as the best. Don't argue with him. There are some people who will not give you chance to allow your own argument to supersede his own. So such a person, you must learn to keep quiet. So you must be able, as a total person, that is why one of those things I said, an ability to manage a whole, an ability to adjust to any situation. If it's an extrovert, behave like an introvert. If it's an introvert, behave like an extrovert. You must not prove him wrong. If you continue to argue with a fool, it means you are automatically a fool. If you continue to argue with a drunkard, it means you are automatically a drunkard. So the best thing, behave in the opposite direction of such a person. Look, for example, you stand in a place, a madman just came, and in your front, you just do like this, making noise, talking, and you started talking with him. What do you think will happen? He will start enjoying it, and he will keep on increasing, behaving the same way. But you just keep quiet, be looking at him. Or the best thing for you to do is just stylishly move away from that place. So a total man must be able to adapt, must be able to change to any situations. A total man at home who has a hot-tempered wife, who has a wife when there's little argument, he carries knife, or he carries mortar, he carries this. You will always learn to say sorry. You must always learn to abide with whatever she says to allow peace to reign. Or in some instances, just stylishly dress and go out. When everything must have died down, come back. If you say again, beg him or beg her, sorry man, sorry man. So you don't argue. That's a total man. You are not a total person if you continue to argue and you want your own to be on top. You will never win it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Dr. Samuel, your take on understanding personality, relating with people to be in order to be to portray oneself as a total man.
The life is not a sprint race, it's a marathon race in which you hit the track, run with all energy, 100 meters and rest. No. You continually live with people and you must study people, understand them, either at home, at work, in your village, anywhere, or in social gathering. So learning to live with people, learning to understand people is a skill you must learn. To live with people, to understand them, not to be, the Bible that says, follow peace with all men, understand what it's saying. With all men, it's not talking about either the person is good or the person is bad. You will look for a way to maintain peace and decorum because you will need it. So life itself is not a marathon, a sprint race where it's 100 meters. After 100 meters, you rest. No, continue to be with that person. So understanding people you are dealing with, the strength, the weakness, and how to survive their difficult tactics. That's what makes you a man, a real man, a total man. People are becoming treasured. Some smile at you, they don't like you. Some frown at you without you knowing what you've done wrong. Some don't just like you for no just cause reason. And amidst all this, you must still learn to live and survive with them. So being a total man involves you adapting to all these antics in your environment. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Yes. Mr. Oluwarere, in being a total man, as human, we all face different circumstances in life, and sometimes we face some difficult situation. How does our ability to manage the situation, to control the situation, either unpleasant make us our total man? Control of difficult situation.
What makes you a man? Thank you very much. What makes you a man is your ability to adapt to any changing situations. That's what makes you a man. If there is a storm and you allow the storm to wear you down, you are not a man. Job is part of all the challenges he had, to the extent that the wife calls him, say, curse God and die. He was able to adapt. He was able to manage the situations. And thereafter, he came forth as gold. His later year was 100 times better than his earlier years. So, what makes you a man is an ability to manage your stuff. It's an ability to manage crisis. It's an ability for you to overcome whatever situations you find yourself. That is what makes you, that's what makes you a man. So, for you being able to control yourself is what really makes you a total man. If you can't control yourself, if you allow little challenges to wear you down, it means you are not a man. You are not a man. So those are the things you must know. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Dr. Samuel, how should a man that is said to be a total man control crisis, in line with what Mr. Oluwalere just said about being control of difficult situations?
You must know this, that tough times never last, but tough people do.
Yeah.
The first thing about crisis is that it has its expiry date. It will expire. No matter how tough it is, because the darker the night, the closer the day. Is to hold your ground fast in crisis, knowing full well that crisis will soon pass. Crisis will come. It's part of life. A man born of a woman is subdued, and those 2 days to crisis. But if you hold your ground, you are doing the right thing, it's just a matter of time. That is expiry, it will expire. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Yeah, Mr. Oluwalere, what's the place of hard work in being a total man?
Thank you very much. A place of hard work in being a total man.
Yeah.
You always believe in yourself.
Not being lazy.
Being hard work knows that hard work pays. Don't wait till maybe I'm looking for Godfather. Always believe in yourself. And always believe that with your ability and with trust in God, you can get to any level you want to get in life. So do not really believe in Godfathers. Believe in yourself, believe in your attitude. Don't allow anybody to condemn you. Don't allow yourself to be controlled by any changing situations. Just believe you can do it. You say, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. So believe in yourself. Don't allow anything to wear you down. And I bet you, there is no level you want to get to that you won't get to. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Dr. Samuel, your take on that? The place of hard work in being a total man.
There is no replacement for hard work. It always pays. So being a total man demands that you work hard and you work to support yourself so that anything coming out of that hard work will be palatable to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. As we round up this topic today, I want to ask this question about what should be, because we are clamoring on leadership, our political leaders, spiritual leaders, but leadership starts from home. So what should be the place of the home or parents in the place of building a total man? I'll start from Dajoluwalere. What should be the place of the parent in building a total man? Because a total man is not built when he's already a man. It starts from when he's a child, is nurtured. It's the place of the parents.
Thank you very much. You know, they said a stick is easier to bend when it is fresh, because when it has become dried, there's no way you will bend it without breaking it. So what I'm transferring to is that the parents, you have a major role to play in the life of children when they are still young. Impart moral standards in them. When they are wrong, tell them they are wrong. Don't just chastise them. Tell them, advise them the way they have done it is wrong. The best way to do it, tell them. Quote some references in the Bible. Let them know. Teach them. Tell them at times to read the Bible and explain what they have read. Give examples of people who have made it through hard work. And by the time you start imbibing that in them, and when they are wrong, let them know they are wrong. Don't support them. Don't say because they are your children, maybe somebody has stolen and you are siding him because you don't want people to shout on him. Definitely you are spoiling him. You see, the education will say spare the rod and spoil the child. Don't spare the rod. When they offend, let them know, chastise them. Don't spare them. Let them know what they have done is wrong. If you continue to do it from the beginning, like I said, a child comes back from school. When he was going, there's no cash in his bag. He comes back, you see 1,000, 2,000. You see handset, you see pencil, new pencil, you see ruler that you know is not his own. And you still leave it with them, you still support them, then you are spoiling him. He said, from little things that greatest often grow. But when you such a person that knows, if I bring in something that's not mine, my parents will chastise me. They will follow me to the school will shout at me. You will see that they will take corrections. But if you are the type, anything you bring home, the parents will support you. You bring phone, JSS1, bring phone, the parent collects it and using it. They are sparing the rod and they are spoiling the child. And that you see, the child will not get to a level. It won't go beyond the lower level. So always make sure you don't support them when they are wrong. That's the way of training the children from the beginning. Don't spare the rod and spoil the child. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Dr. Samuel, in addition to the role of the parents, what should be the role of the educational institution in building a total man?
In addition to the role of the parents, the educational institution also play an important role in building it. Apart from the parents influence, the teacher influence, because when we are small, we have this belief that our teachers, they are role models, that they are perfect, they are all knowing. And a teacher, you should know that people are looking up to you, people want to be like you. So our educational system should be structured in a way that honesty and integrity should be the hallmark. If we do that, you will discover that people naturally they want to do well in life. How did we get to where we are? Educational system is in a way that the end justify the means. In a society when you have the end justify the means, there is no way people can come out with their best. You will devise a way to pass through shortcuts, and shortcuts always cut people short. I cited an example of the Japanese in their outing about 2 years ago. I got to know that for the first 8 years, all what will be taught Japan will be attitude and culture. Nobody is going to start teaching you about books. It's just attitude, is culture. They are teaching you how to be a better person because you know that little drops of water makes a mighty. you are bad, your next neighbor is bad, the society becomes bad very soon. So pay attention to individual details in every piece. And by doing, the society can be something worth living or worthwhile in the future. So the school also should see it as if they are building leaders. And in building leaders, you need to invest or sow proper seed in them, in which we intend to reap in years to come. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Oluwalere, sir, as we are running off now, what is your final take to people on being a total man, especially to our young generation, the upcoming generation? Mr. Oluwalere, sir.
Yeah. I was off before. I didn't get the question. Sorry.
Your take on this, on being a total man to the young ones.
I didn't get you. Sorry.
I say your final words to the young one to being a total man. What is your advice to the young people?
If you want to be a total man, thank you. To be sincere with you, if you want to be a total man, your focus must always be how to do things in the right and proper way, and how to look up to God for everything. Don't cut corners. Believe in yourself. Believe with God on your side, you can do all things. If you have that mindset, if you have the mindset of not preparing to cut corners, I tell you, you'll get to any length you want to get to. But if you always believe in cutting corners, if you always believe in getting things that are not supposed to be your own, that is not due for you, I bet you won't get anywhere. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Dr. Samuel, your final take on this?
Thank you very much. It's just good to be good. If you are good, living well, things will not work out well for you now. But I can bet you will look back and you won't regret your action. Somewhere in the future, you'll be happy those right decisions you took were just the best for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I want to believe that everybody watching or listening, or that will be watching later, will have one or two things to take home on this matter on being a total man, that it is a journey, not a destination. And being a total man it has to do with making sure that we look at every aspect of our life in order to maintain good relationship with the people around us and to be good example. And in order for us to be able to be in control of the situation, you don't allow yourself to be dampened by whatever you are going through. You don't allow the situation control you. Dr. Samuel said that emotion can impair your judgment and reasoning. So we should be careful. You don't allow things around to influence you. You have to be able to gain that strength from the inside of you. It is what you have on the inside, the stability to be able to manage your emotion, to be disciplined, to have control, to be able to manage your anger. And that is what we're looking at being a total man. You cannot actually be an ideal person. So we want to thank you once again for being part of today's episode. We wish you a wonderful weekend, and we implore you to keep sharing the video so that other people can have access to it. If you're watching later, remember to tag replay. We look forward to seeing you on another episode on Real Men Talk, where it is sizzling hot, interactive, and transforming. Thank you for watching. Dr. Samuel?
Good night, everyone. Sound sleep.
Mr. Oluwalere?
Thank you very much for our listeners. Thank you for our chief programmer. Thank you for the co-debaters. We appreciate you. Thank you.
See you next week.